We begin with new information in the search for Malaysia Airline Flight 370. More than 3 weeks after the plane disappeared, Malaysian authorities have released a transcript of the audio communications between the cockpit and air traffic controllers. CCTV's Ryan Meltzer is live in Kuala Lumpur. What's the latest on the investigation there, Ryan?
Well, this long-awaited transcript was released on Tuesday by the authorities, and it didn't show anything suspicious or untoward in the conversation between the pilot and co-pilot, the cockpit, and Malaysian air traffic control up till the point at which all the communication devices were switched off on the plane and air traffic control lost contact with the plane. The one significant detail is the final words that were spoken by the pilot or co-pilot to air traffic control as they left Malaysia's airspace and prepared to enter Vietnam's airspace. And initially, Malaysia's authorities reported this as "all right, good night," which seemed unduly casual and was actually breaking protocol on this handover between airspaces. In fact, what they said, as James Chow, our colleague, was the first to report, was "Good night, Malaysian 370. Now, it's not clear why Malaysia got this wrong in the first place and why it took more than 3 weeks to correct it. And there was another serious sort of backtracking and contradiction as well in the past day or so. And that's when the Prime Minister made his announcement 10 days ago. He said it was with deep sadness and regret that they had concluded that the plane's flight ended over this remote area of the southern Indian Ocean with no land around. And all of us, the media, Malaysia Airlines, even Australia's Prime Minister, read this to mean that the plane had crashed into the sea and that there were no survivors. But now the Minister of Transport has come out and said, no, the Prime Minister merely said the flight had ended. He had never said it had crashed. He had never said there were no survivors. Again, no explanation for why this backtracking and why it would take more than a week to clarify this.
Interesting. Well, Ryan, what can you tell us about the Chinese families who arrived there on Sunday night? Some had trickled in, of course, earlier, but this is the first big group to arrive.
Well, no sooner had they arrived than they began holding media briefings. They have a sort of appointed spokesman, and the anger was very plain. It's all directed toward the Malaysian government and what they see as Malaysia withholding facts, not telling them the truth about the fate of their loved ones. Some complained that they were being treated almost like captives in the hotel, that their movements were very restricted. But then they were able to go out. They took a couple of bus loads and they went off to a Buddhist temple and did some prayers there. They heard some words of comfort from the monk in charge there. And when they came out, all their anger had not dissipated. They still hammered the Malaysian government, essentially, but they did have some kind words for other Malaysians, for the caregivers and the volunteers that are helping them, and for the search and rescue teams, the international search and rescue teams, saying that they prayed for their safety. And now in a couple of hours here, local time, they're going to have a high-level briefing. The authorities are going to hold a high-level briefing with the family members to lay out all the facts, all the data that they have, to try to convince them that they are being completely open. But judging by past briefings that took place in Beijing with the same family members, whether this is going to mollify them or appease them, as the minister had said, that seems very unlikely.
Ryan Meltzer, live for us in Kuala Lumpur. Thanks so much.